What's going on, everybody? Lunar Classic back to $1. Lunar Classic back to all-time highs. Who knows? But we're certainly getting some interesting works coming out of the L1 team and some very interesting proposals that you need to be aware of if you're still holding your Lunar Classic. So all of that in this video. So go ahead, smash that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel for your daily cryptocurrency updates, as well as leave a like on this video if you're bullish still on Terra Lunar Classic. And let's get into it. I wanted to start off right at the foundation of what we are trying to do with Terra Lunar Classic, which is ultimately burn the supply or lock the supply away. So we did get the Binance burn, 1 billion Terra Lunar Classic burnt once again by Binance. Now, they did delist a pairing on their platform as it was just not creating enough volume, but at the same time they still continue to support even with that additional 0.5% burn tax that we now have on chain. So again, 1.13 billion was total amount burned, which takes us cumulatively to 6.8 trillion is the current supply. And again, if you think about what we've removed from that, we can actually see it here on the statistics with over nearly $1 trillion already staked, 14.46, and this feels like it continues to increase. So some very good spots and very good news all in all for Terra Lunar Classic. Now we'll take a look at the chart in just a second, but the big news that we did get here is the version 2.1 upgrade proposal is up for discussion on the Commonwealth. Please review and comment. Proposal goes live for vote on approximately June 7th, with the upgrade scheduled to take place June 14th. So ultimately, this is Parity. This is the next big thing for Terra Lunar Classic that I've been talking about, that I think it's the kind of make or break situation for Terra Lunar Classic. Do we get more volume back in? Do we get more projects wanting to build? Do we get more, ultimately more customers and holders coming back into the Terra Lunar Classic ecosystem? Well, for me, it's a very big thing. It also unlocks a number of other parts in which we can furthermore build out the Terra Lunar Classic. What's interesting, and you'll notice here that are trending currently on Twitter with 2,968 tweets, is USTC, and this is important when we talk about the next thing. But this parity situation is a big thing for Terra Lunar Classic. Set that date in your diaries, June 14th, again, where we reach parity and ultimately start to really be able to commingle between some of those blockchains, and opens the gates up to a number of other potential new investors into Terra Lunar Classic. Now, there is more to talk about, and this is, for me, I guess, you know, when I talked about the L1 team, that they have to do something that either increases the price or increases the burn rate, neither of which we can argue and say hasn't really done. But we have the USTC test environment. Now, again, I think this is a huge thing for both Terra Lunar Classic and the cryptocurrency ecosystem. We do know stablecoins will probably be heavily regulated at some point. All of the battle between the SEC, XRP, governments, you name it, is all about how they regulate the transaction between cryptocurrency and what we ultimately deem as the crypto dollar or a stablecoin. Whereas USDC is a decentralized algorithmic stablecoin. Now, again, people kind of go, whoa, that's the whole reason this kind of fell apart. With safe measures in place, protocols that ultimately stop that from happening again. And again, this test environment, so it can be stress test, I think is incredibly important. Now, currently, everyone seems to be voting yes, which you would expect. But ultimately, what is it? Well, it says during the second quarter, following the completion of the Cosmos WASM upgrade to parity, L1 Task Force proposed utilizing a small proportion of the Q2 compute budget to set up a USTC test environment for the L1 team. Should be possible to complete without any impact on currently scheduled activities. We feel that having community authorization to focus on building the infrastructure required to test proposed approaches to a USTC repeg would be a significant benefit to the Lunar Classic ecosystem. Ultimately, bringing a real and absolutely needed utility back, and at the same time testing some of these proposals to how they work. This is recreating a simulation for a DPEG event, creating the simulated repeg event, testing proposed strategies and acceptance criteria. How do we build out? How do we ensure that for Terra Lunar Classic we can have fundamentally the algorithmic stablecoin that ultimately people can use? And I think that, for me, is a big step in the right direction, and it's probably something we've been overdue getting out there. Now, does this bring new people into Terra Lunar Classic? Does this bring people back to Terra Lunar Classic? I think ultimately we do need things that are going to drive focus on Terra Lunar Classic, a reason for people to reinvest, a reason for people to be sure that Terra Lunar Classic continues to build out. Now, you've probably seen a number of influencers, YouTube people, whatever it is, suddenly stop talking about Terra Luna Classic. Why? Because it doesn't generate the views anymore. So we need to show them that actually it's not about views. This is about potential. And I think that's where Terra Luna Classic continues to be exciting. Now, again, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can only tell you what I'm doing, which is I'm holding my Luna Classic. I'm staking it along with 14.5% of you with a significant number staked, which again, just come out of that circulating supply. So are we going to see a massive price rally? Well, we hope we're going to see some movement on the back of Parity. We equally, with the USDC repeg, could see some start to movements on this. What we do see, however, is when we get some nice traction upwards, we do see some big sells off. Now, this is in line with the rest of the market, but this trend line down, we need to see a break and then a push to the upside. Gain that zero back, get rid of that zero is definitely where we want to try and push towards. And I think the couple of things coming up could be very, very interesting for Terra Luna Classic. Just realized I didn't show the chart there, but here we go. With this trend line that we need to see the break of the trend line, again, we see this push up. We do see a big push down. Again, volume sitting around the same sort of number, about 7 billion Terra Luna Classic on the day. If we can break this downward trend, we could start to see us push upwards. We're on the 4-hour chart here. So again, we're looking for that break to the upside. And I think we could be definitely in for some potential moves. Parity coming, as well as that USDC test environment could be very, very good for Terra Luna Classic. But let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're already still super bullish on Terra Luna Classic, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Keep you up to date with everything that's going on. Leave a like on this video. Comment down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.